Hey everyone, I'm BB, and today I'm going over my top 10 favorite LGBT characters, part 3. Okay, so I know what you're probably thinking. Really, BB? Part 3? Don't you hate sequels? Not all the time. But yeah, I'm kind of struggling with video ideas at the moment. It's not funny. And there's a lot more LGBT characters I haven't talked about yet. Some of them I have talked about, but like, not the individual character, because I talked about them in the couples videos, but I'm going to talk about them here now. So, let's get into it. Before we start though, I just want to say one thing. Charlie Spring is still my favorite, but he's obviously not going to be on this list because he was on the last one, so yeah. But Charlie is still my favorite, but like these are the ones that I like as well. Just a disclaimer. Number 10 is Norma from Paranormal Park. You may remember I put her on my top 5 autistic characters, and she's still one of my favorite ones, but at the time she hadn't came out as bi yet, but since I made that video she's came out as bi, so now she's allowed to be on this list. I think her realizing and coming out to her mom was done really well as well. I really liked that. But unfortunately, we'll never get to see if she gets a partner or not. Thanks, Netflix. I do really hope it gets in a season 3 one day, or at least some kind of ending. Well, he is writing the book still, because Paranormal Park is based on a book series, so yeah. We will get to know what happens next, it's just not in animated form. It's a little bit of a story about this one. This character I've been meaning to talk about for ages, but for some reason on the last LGBT characters video I removed him, and I have no idea why. Like, I remember he was on it, but then I don't remember why I removed him, because if I remembered I would have definitely put him on instead of the Dean, but it's fine now. And then in my last LGBT couples video, if you remember reading the pinned comment and the part on the screen, I accidentally recorded 11 instead of 10, when I don't know how that happened. So I had to remove his part to make it make sense. But he's here now. Number 9 is Zulius from Centaur World. I haven't talked about Centaur World at all on my channel. Well, I've tried, but I still haven't. But it's a fine show. The music is great, but the show itself is a bit... feels like we're watching 2 separate shows at the same time. But Zulius is one of my favorite characters. He's such a diva. I love it. Especially the scene when he makes the bird tars join their army that they're trying to form. It was really cool. And his relationship with whatever the tiger tar is called, I don't remember his name. And yeah, I do like him a lot. Also his power is awesome. He can freeze time and I don't know what the word is, like do a monologue, I guess. Yeah, but no one knows about it. It's hilarious. But yeah, he is probably one of my favorite characters. Don't know if he's my absolute favorite though. Number 8 is Charlie from Hazbin Hotel. There are a lot of Charlies, aren't there? Charlie is the protagonist of Hazbin Hotel, and she's the devil's daughter, in case you didn't know. She's trying to open up a hotel that rehabilitates sinners so they can get into heaven, which is a really good idea. Charlie's probably the sweetest character, out there. Despite growing up in hell, she's really nice, but she is very flawed as well, because she kind of just sees this more as, putting them in timeouts or, treating them like kids, which you shouldn't, because these are real people that have real problems. They're in hell for a reason, Charlie. How are you so innocent despite growing up in hell? It's hilarious. And I'm looking forward to when the show comes out. It's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to hear what Charlie's singing voice sounds like. Number 7 is Elle from Heartstopper. Elle is a great character, but she's also got a couple flaws about her. Nothing to do with her being trans, don't worry. But she did out Nick, and no one talks about that. No one. I noticed it when I first watched it, but she totally outed Nick, and no one in the show bats an eye about that. Ever. So, yeah. But, aside from that, I do love Elle a lot. The fact that she got to move to the girls' school, good for her, because that's really hard to do, And I love her a lot. I love her relationship with Tao as well. I didn't like Tao at first, but I've grown on him. And I just love Elle so much. The fact that her friends just treat her like a girl is amazing. Even though no one else does, but you know what? That's fine. Although and Tao's mom as well is we haven't seen a relationship with all their adults, but the fact that she just instantly accepts her as Elle, that's amazing too. So yeah, Elle is a great character. Number 6 is Moxie from Helluva Boss, the third Helluva Boss character I've talked about in this series, because they're all LGBT. Moxie is bisexual. That was confirmed in the most recent episode when we saw his ex-partner, who I don't ever want to think about, ever. He also grew up with a really homophobic, biphobic, and sexist dad, and we're not going to talk about Moxie's dad either. He's a horrible person. But yeah, despite all that, Moxie is still like, you know, in the most wholesome relationship probably ever with Millie. And maybe I'll talk about them in part 3 of my LGBT couples. We'll see. But I do like Moxie. The fact that he's, like, so, like, he has such a good heart despite being an assassin. Like, I mean, he is in hell and those things are good there, but still, it's pretty funny. I always laugh about that. Number 5 is Link from The Legend of Zelda. If you remember my video I made a couple years ago, then you know that Link is non-binary. Or at least a lot of people think they are. I like to think that they are. But at the time I didn't, but I've actually grown to really love the idea of them being non-binary. I mean, I did notice that they still call them he, him in the games, which obviously, you know, non-binary people can go by whatever pronoun they want, but still, it's interesting. But I still like to think of the idea that Link is non-binary, and even if it's kind of more of a headcanon, and I don't know if it's canon or not still, but I still think they qualify for this list. Obviously, they're the protagonist of the Legend of Zelda series, so they don't really have a personality, I guess, but they still have a cool design as well. I really do. I like their design. They've had several designs for all the different Zelda games. The most iconic one is the green hat, obviously. And obviously, you know, canonically, they're the hero that saves Zelda and the whole world of Hyrule from Calamity Ganon, which is awesome. Even though Hyrule Warriors totally goes against that, but we're gonna ignore that game exists. So yeah, Link is awesome. Number 4 is Birdo from Super Mario. In case you didn't know, Birdo was the very first trans character to ever appear in a game. I only learned that recently. In fact, it was kind of her that made me want to make this list, because I really want to talk about her. I really love her a lot. I was also going to put Yoshi on this list, because Yoshi's kind of like a strange one, really, because like, obviously Yoshi identifies as male. Like, that's been established multiple times, but they lay eggs, so it's like, you know, but Yoshi's kind of reproduced asexually, which is a real thing animals do. Jellyfish do it. But I decided to go with Birdo instead, because Birdo kind of means more, really, to, like, society. I don't like using that word, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I really do love them. I love her. I don't really actually know much about her. I just know that her design's kind of weird. But that's nothing to do with her being trans. That's just the designers. But you know what? It's really groundbreaking that a game character from the 80s, you know, is transgender. Because that was when, like, basically no one knew what it was. Let's face it. I wasn't alive then, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I really do love her a lot. She's a really cool character. I might get a plushie of her, actually. I have a Yoshi plushie, so that would go well together. Number 3 is David from Schitt's Creek. You have to have known he was going to be on the list. As you all remember, in my last LGBT couples video, I put David and Patrick there and said that I wish I had watched Schitt's Creek sooner so I could put him on the other 2 videos. But he's here now, so we're fine. He's definitely become one of my favorite characters ever. He's so sassy and I love it. And like I said last time, I am so glad that they didn't make him gay. Like, because this was in 2015 when, you know, no one really knew what all the sexualities were. And David is pansexual, which makes me so happy because that one is never talked about, ever. Like, people always mistaking it for bisexual. They're not the same thing. If you comment that, I will delete it because they're not the same thing. But yeah, David is a sexuality that was hardly talked about back then. It's talked about pretty much now because Blitz from Hello Boss is pansexual as well. So, you know, there's a lot more pansexual representation now, which makes me happy. But yeah, David was pretty much one of the first ones. I don't know if he was the very first one, I'll have to check that. And his relationship with Patrick is so wholesome, like I said last time. His relationship with Stevie as a friend is good. They also slept together, but I'm so glad they didn't end up together. Like, really, I am. But I'm really glad that him and Patrick ended up together because I really loved them together so much. Okay, number 2 is probably going to be the most shocking one on this list. I bet none of you saw this coming. Number 2 is Hunter from the Owl House. You do not understand how happy that's made me. And you're probably thinking, Hunter's gay? No, he's not. No, Hunter's bisexual. I freaking called it. I never actually said this, but I always thought Hunter was bisexual. And in case you're wondering, Willow is also pansexual, so there's another one. I just didn't want to spoil it, because, yeah. But Hunter is my favorite character from the Owl House, as you all know. I love him so much. I've been wanting to talk about him for so long, but when I learned he's bisexual, I immediately put him on this list, because I knew I was going to talk about him so much, because I love him. There's so much to say about Hunter, but I'm going to keep it short, because I don't want this video to be too long. But yes, Hunter is awesome. His design is awesome. His story is awesome. His relationship with Flapjack is awesome. His found family are awesome. Everything about Hunter is awesome. He's been through so much as well. Like, the bags under his eyes, the scar on his face is from Bellows, no surprise, the dick. But yeah, Hunter is amazing, and I'm so glad that I was able to talk about him on this video. So thank you, Dana, for confirming that for me, because I called it straight away. And also, Flapjack, rest in peace. Okay, number one probably doesn't shock you. My lists are getting too cliche now. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm just going to put a picture of him right there. Yeah. Who else would have it been? And remember earlier in the video when I said that Charlie's still my favorite? I kind of lied. Well, Charlie's still my favorite. I think Nick is also my favorite. I think I love them both equally. I think they're both number one. Like, at this point, they're both number one. I was debating putting Hunter at number one in this list, but I had to go with Nick. Like, I really had to go with Nick. If you haven't watched Heartstopper or any of my other videos, like, for the last year or something, Nick is Charlie Spring's boyfriend from Heartstopper, and their relationship is the best relationship in the world, don't at me. And, you know, his like, struggles of realizing he's bisexual, realizing he has feelings for Charlie, trying to keep it a secret so no one finds out, it's all just amazing, it's well written. It puts other LGBT relationships to shame, like, honestly it does. And I love them both so much. They're both equally my favorite. I just didn't put Charlie here because I talked about him last time, like I said. But, like, the last time I did think that Charlie was my only favorite. But no, Nick, you deserve to be number one too. So yeah, Nick and Charlie are both number one. They're always going to be number one. No one will ever replace either of them. At least I hope not. At least not for a while. Well, that was my top 10 LGBT characters part 3. Well, I'll let you know when part 4 comes out. Let me know who your favorite LGBT character is in the comments down below. And please like and subscribe. And I'm BB, and I'll see you next time. Bye!